there's no doubt that the planet is warming. Over the past century, the global temperatures have increased by 1 degree Celsius, and is projected by the United Nations Panel for Climate Change to increase at least 1.7 more degrees. If this happens, a vast majority of our country will be underwater, including monuments, great buildings, and our homes and lives. So now that you know what big an impact climate change can have, let's look at what impacts it has had on my own life. So firstly, it's the lessons that I've been able to learn. At my school, because of how big a problem climate change is, we've been able to learn about climate change, what it is, its impacts, its causes, and what we as students can potentially do to help solve it. Also, in my city, which is Hanoi City, we're one of the most heavily impacted by air pollution. So every day when I go outside, I see these vehicles going to the streets, releasing all of these toxic pollutants into the atmosphere. And when I go to school every day, I also have to wear a mask to protect myself from both the coronavirus and from air pollution too. And this kind of environment is extremely risky for people, especially for those who have difficulty with breathing. Thirdly, is the impact on the food sources. Food is becoming a lot less nutritious nowadays because of how climate change is disrupting its growth. Foods now, especially vegetables and fruits, they now have a lot more sugar and a lot less nutrients. Also, food prices are spiking. Some people, especially those in the lower social classes, they cannot afford the healthy food options and instead have to rely on unhealthy food options instead. And also, food's quality is not ensured. My parents are hesitant to buy a lot of food because they're afraid that the food will make us sick if they buy it. And we definitely do not want that. And finally, is the impact on water. The world's major lakes and rivers are now drying up, and the millions of people who rely on it cannot use that anymore. They cannot use that anymore. And in my city, for example, my family, we actually have to use our own source of water from the large sources, and we cannot use it from the rivers. Cannot use it from a tap anymore. So, however, all is not lost. We can just do these small actions every single day to help contribute towards solving climate change. You don't have to do big actions like traveling miles to attend a protest about deforestation, or you don't have to donate thousands of dollars to a certain environmental campaign. You can just do things like following the 3 R's, planting trees, walking instead of driving, or turning off the electric devices when you're not using them. All of these things, if you're doing it every day, and if a lot of people do it, it will create a much bigger impact. So, as you can see, climate change has had a big impact on my own life. And if everyone was doing the things, the potential solutions that I said we could have done, we'd be doing an amazing job at protecting our planet Earth. So please, take into consideration what I've said and do your part to solve climate change from becoming worse. Because after all, it will be us, the next generation, you and I, who will be having to face the effects of climate change itself. Thank you for listening.